Okay, we're back. We are still working on our tools. In the previous lesson, we went over the top 4 right here. The next tool is the crop tool. It's pretty self-explanatory. It just crops your image with the dimension you give it, the ratio in inches, centimeter, and whatever size you choose. I'm gonna go in my library right here. And I just have some images to choose from. And if you want to add images to your library, just open your folder, choose the image you want. I'll just choose this, drag and drop it to library. Let's close this. And here's our image. So I'm going to just drag one of my images. I'm going to grab Mickey Mouse and place it in my canvas. There it is. Let's close library. I'm going to position it where I want it and hit enter or the checkbox up here. So there is my my image, and let's say I want to crop my image, maybe crop out, or just I want to keep this Disney logo. Let's go into crop, and you can see this frame right here. That is because it automatically chose these numbers. So I'm going to first right click on this and reset tool so I can start from scratch. When there's nothing in here, you can just customize whatever you want, make it how big or small you want it to. But if we open this right here, right now it's on ratio, we have the width and height and resolution, which is 3 things. So width, height, resolutions. And then we have some presets right here, just some ratios, some dimensions. We have one custom ones, which I made, which is just A4. You can make your own new crop preset and delete crop preset. So for this image, I'm just going to go with, let's say, a 4x5 or 8x10. You can see there's a 4 and a 5 here. I'm going to click this to invert it, and now we have a horizontal selection. I'm going to minimize that and bring it over my Disney logo. Turn it a bit higher, and now we have a selection of our Disney logo. And if you wanted to add your own, you would hit clear and add your own numbers. But I'm just going to keep it as 4x5. Okay, I have to resize it again. There we are. Let's actually come it up a little higher, and I can use the arrow keys on my keyboard. Let me first hit enter to get out of this, and I use the arrow keys on my keyboard to move it to the way I want it, but this is like pixel by pixel, so it's really small adjustments. Once I'm done, I can hit the check mark up here. So I hit it once, and now I only have my Disney logo. Another way that you can do that, let's hit Ctrl Z to bring back our image. You can make a free selection. So I will go on top of my logo and just click and drag, but because we have the 5x4 thing, it's now going to let me do it freely. So let me do like a new crop preset. I'll do it after it actually. Let's hit clear. And now I can draw whatever dimension I want. Let go once I'm finished. And I can make this a new crop preset. So I'll come down here, new crop preset. Let's call it a long logo. Let's just call it that. Hit OK. And now this is a preset. So below A4, I have long logo. Then we would hit the check mark once we're done. And now we have cropped our image to only this layer. Let's zoom in, go to the zoom tool, right click, fit on screen, and this is our image right now. Let's undo that. Again, fit on screen. We are back with our original image. That's how you make a normal crop. Another thing that you can do is to actually rotate your image. So actually, I'm going to remove that and just do a free selection of Mickey himself. And I have the option to rotate this too. So if I come below my selection, you can see we have a curved double-headed arrow. I can rotate it however I like. Adjust the sides. Because we have nothing in here, it's I'm able to customize it. If you move the corners, you're moving them you're moving both sides at once, but if you're only doing one, then you're only moving one side. We also have the option to straighten. How this works is that you would give a line to Photoshop. So I have a line that I can put on top of the ears, but this is great for when you have maybe a street in your image, leading lines, maybe a tower. But we're just going to try it out and see if it works here. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm given this ruler. I'm going to click and then drag. Try to make a straight line. Here's 0 degrees. You can see next to the symbol on the top right, there's this 0.0 degrees. That's how we know it's a straight line. Hit it once, and Photoshop is going to make the image straight. But because ours was already straight, it didn't really work. So let's maybe try to do that and then try it again. Will be a little difficult actually. Let's click on this and try to make an equal selection. Okay, there we go. You can see that it rotated it back to where it was. It gave us a pretty straight image, even though we didn't really have a straight line to follow. Another thing is you can change the overlay options. This is the overlay right now for the crop tool. So now we are on rule of thirds. This is rule of thirds right now. We have grid. We have the grid, diagonal, triangle, golden ratio, golden spiral, and then you can auto show overlay, always show overlay, never show overlay. That means like there would be nothing, but I recommend having one, always show overlay. And the rule of thirds is the best one. You can also put cycle overlay, which you would just cycle through it and choose one on its own. But actually grid would be the best one. So choose grid and always have the overlay so that you can make more precise croppings. Next to it, we have some options. We have the classic mode, show cropped area, which you can see everywhere is dark and only this part is light. Auto center preview. You can see these guides when I drag it. It's telling me how many pixels I need to go to being in the middle. We missed it. Okay, 0 pixels. Now we need to move up. And now we are in the center. And that's because we had the auto center preview, enable crop shield. And this is the dark things you see out here. You can change the color. Right now it's on match canvas. It's a similar gray color, but you can customize it to maybe a red color if you like. But I'm just going to keep it to match canvas. The opacity can be changed too. I can make it lighter or I can make it fully dark, but keep it at like 55% so you know where you're cropping and where isn't being cropped. Auto adjust opacity, so it's just going to automatically adjust it for me once I'm out. We have the delete cropped pixels. So once I make a selection and I hit OK, it's going to delete those areas, which is naturally what you want to do. And this is how the crop thing works. We have the reset the crop box. So if I did some stuff here and I want to reset everything, I would hit this and I'm back to the beginning. And if I don't want to crop, I would hit the cancel. If I'm done cropping, I would hit the check mark. So let's actually crop Mickey Mouse himself. Let's come up and make a selection. I'm going to hit the check mark. And now we only have Mickey Mouse. I just hit Control Z to come back to our original image. Now, like we learned in the previous lesson, if you can also crop using the tools up here. I can just use a rectangular tool to just draw a rectangle, hit Ctrl J. But this makes a copy, but the crop tool affects the entire canvas. So now I only have Mickey Mouse, but it's a separate layer. So if I turn this off, I have my original image, turn this back on, I have my cropped copy. Let's remove that. You can also use all the other selection tools. You can use the lasso tool to maybe just select and crop his nose and eyes and hit Ctrl J. And now we only have his nose and eyes. Let's remove that. And you can use any other selection tool like we mentioned, or you can use the crop tool to completely affect your canvas and your image. So that is how you crop in Photoshop. It's really simple. Didn't even take that long to understand. Another tool that's there that's kind of similar to the crop tool is the frame tool. It's right below here. You can see that it's a rectangle and it has an X. And this is a really cool tool. So I'm first going to delete my Mickey Mouse layer and then go on my zoom tool to just fit on screen. And with the frame tool, what it does is that you draw a frame. Right now it has one for circles and rectangles. And then whatever image you bring onto Photoshop is placed within that frame. Now what that means, let's demonstrate. I'm on the rectangle. I'm going to draw like a square. Okay, now I have a selection. I'm going to go in my libraries and I'm going to drag Mickey Mouse here. As you can see, it's only within my frame, but because my image was larger, you can see these blue lines. So I can actually move it around, choose the area that I want. And this is great, like if you go on here, it shows a little preview. If you have a cup, it will select it using the circular thing, and now you have an ocean in your cup, which is pretty cool. We also have the circular option, which was what we just saw right here. Let's make a circular option and go to the library and put another image inside. There we are. We have a perfectly selected area, a circular area for our image. Now another way that we can create selections, let's say I don't want a circle and I don't want a square. I'm going to go in my shape tool, it's the circle right here, right click, choose maybe a triangle. And I will draw a triangle, adjust the size. There it is. I'm going to right click on that layer, hit Control and then right click on that layer. Let's come, it's right here, convert to frame. Hit that once. Let's name it triangle 1. I actually accidentally deleted that. Again, draw your rectangle. Right click on that layer, convert to frame. Let's name it just triangle, hit OK. And then we can do the same thing within our layer. Put in whatever shape we want. So this was one way. And if you right click on the shape, you have different options. You even have custom shapes. We'll get into that later. Let me delete triangle and the rest of these as well. Go to my zoom tool, fit on screen. I accidentally deleted the white background. Let's just use the bucket tool to fill it back in. Another way that you can do that is by create a more customized frame, is to create a new layer. Get your brush. Let's get red, increase the size. I'm just going to do like a curved line like this. Okay. And again, on the layer, right click, frame from layers, frame 1, and now this is our frame. This is our shape, our content within the frame. So instead of having to drag a content from our library, this is our content right now, which is pretty nice. Let's delete that. And it's an overall cool tool. Again, if you have a more specified shape, it will come in handy. Let me fill that bald spot right there. We have one down here. And yep, that is how the crop tool and the frame tool work. They're both really helpful and handy. You'll be using them a lot, just like all the other layers. So let's move on to the next lesson, where we will go on to healing and just cleaning up an image in general. I'll see you guys there.